Hello, my name is Sima. I'm an engineer, and once a week I teach at middle schools 3D printing, math, and crafts. I'm doing this for 5 years now, and I thought I was used to wide questions. I'm here because of one question. It was in 6th grade. I was listening to a student of mine. Another one approached me. Miss Sommer, Miss Sommer, Miss Sommer, 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 Zom. He was done talking, and I said, yes! I have a question. I said, go ahead. Why do people cut off other people's heads? I said, why do you ask? She said, well, I saw it on TikTok, and they were also holding a black flag, and it was so strange. And as soon as I heard black flag, I panicked, because instead of comforting her, as I should, I said, why are you watching this kind of stuff? What were you thinking? And now she's panicking too. I didn't do it on purpose. It just popped up. It just popped up. What do you mean it just popped up? Something cannot just pop up. Apparently, almost half of my students were seeing similar content. So I did my research, and long story short, something can just pop up. The more time you spend on social media, the more likely the content can become extreme. That is why Australia became the first country who put an age limit on social media. No access under the age of 16. And let me make this personal. I have a 14-year-old brother. Just a couple of months ago, police investigated in his school because child pornography was being shared among students. Some of them took a normal picture of a girl and then generated with AI a nude picture. She was 13. The psychological damage has now reached a point where more and more parents demand social media and smartphone ban, not just in school, but also in private life. Critics argue children should learn digital competency. Yeah, but tablets in kindergarten don't make children digital competent, they make them addicted. And big tech designed it that way, because tablets and smartphones can trigger addiction-like reactions in the brain, mainly through social media and entertainment platforms. Because there we receive constantly small stimuli like a like, or a notification, or an exciting video. These stimuli activate the reward system in our brain, which is also active when we gamble or use drugs. Every year, 20,000 children become addicted to digital media. That is 6 times higher than the rate of new addictions caused by illegal drugs. Experts and doctors are warning even 30 minutes of smartphone use can increase attention, language, and development disorders in children aged 3 to 5. For those aged 8 to 13, it additionally raises the risk of obesity. And that's not all. In both groups, screen time fuels distraction and restlessness. And it doesn't matter if the content is labeled educational. In fact, Sweden and Finland are now going back to books and papers because after years of full digitalization, teachers observed, the children understand less words, they speak less, they are easily distracted and struggle to focus. I have 8th graders who have never tied a knot in their entire life. I said, how do you tie your shoes? He said, I have no shoes. I looked down, he was wearing sandals with socks. It was midwinter. Experts call this trend digital dementia, a decline in memory, thinking, and reasoning due to excessive use of digital media. Let me be crystal clear. My students are not stupid. Your children are perfectly fine the way they are. They are just extremely exhausted. They spend way too much time on screens. My students spend on average from 2 to 11 hours a day on screens. That's too much. We need to change that. But children don't listen and learn. They watch and learn. Have you once seen children who walk like this? Have you seen them? Yeah, because they are watching. A study in 2023 showed that parents spend on average almost 6 hours a day on screen, daily, outside of paid work. That's a lot. So we need to change ourselves. Most of us don't even know how much time we're wasting on smartphones because almost half of our daily decisions are driven by habits, not conscious thinking. A habit consists of 3 elements: a cue, a routine, and a reward. For example, you see the chocolate, that's a cue. You eat the chocolate, that's the behavior triggered by the cue. And you feel happy, that's the reward. Smartphone work exactly the same way. You get a notification, you hear, that's the cue. You check your phone, that's the routine. And a tiny shot of dopamine release, that's the reward. Because every message makes us happy. But sometimes the cue can be internal. For example, you feel sad or bored or depressed or lonely. That is why the goal is not to fight the cue, but to change the routine. We can start by screen time management. A randomized study showed that by reducing screen time to under 2 hours a day has led to lower level of stress, depression, and anxieties. Also, movement helps too. Fit body means a fit brain. Regular physical activities improve concentration, attention, and memory. Even a simple walk increases the blood flow to your brain by up to 30%. So that's why you get your best ideas while walking. And creativity matters too. Everything that you do with your hands, folding, building, crafting, it doesn't matter, leads to less stress and better memory. And the best thing, the most powerful thing we can do is doing absolutely nothing. The Dutch even have a word for this. It's called niksen. It means deliberately doing nothing. Sitting on a bench, watching dogs, watching humans, it doesn't matter. Habits take time, but repeated behavior strengthens neural pathways. Even if a habit is interrupted, the brain can still remember the path. So the more often you try, the more easier it will get. It took me almost a year to overcome my smartphone addiction by gradually changing my habits. So change doesn't happen overnight. Be kind, and most importantly, be patient with yourself. Thank you so much.